Hello, Beloiters. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, Donna, for the beautiful introduction. We are so happy and so excited to be here with each and every one of you today. Now, before we begin, we do want to acknowledge that there are atrocities happening all around our world. In Palestine, in Sudan, in the Ukraine, in Haiti, and so many other places, people are suffering. And in this moment of celebration, we are holding this tension of joy and pain.
We are battling real issues from racism, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, homophobia, militarism, sexism, and many more challenges in our country and in this world. We know there is much more to do, but if you will, please take an intentional moment of silence and reflection with us about these injustices happening either in this state, in this country, around the world, and think seriously, critically, and intentionally about our role and our responsibilities in challenging these systems of injustice. Ashe.
Thank you so much for opening your hearts and your minds to reflect and to remember with us. In this movement for justice rooted in love, we must still create joy in the midst of heartache. Justin and I, we just traveled to New Orleans, and we went to the bayou, and we were invited there by the Homa people, and we got to visit their native lands they've been living on for generations. We saw how they are facing literal years of environmental travesties, including the 2010 BP oil spill that poisoned their water and killed 11 people. And we saw how they are dealing with floods and hurricanes that have destroyed their homes, and they are still rebuilding today with their own hands. And at the same time, they are preparing for the next big disaster, because it's not a matter of if the next big one would happen, but a matter of when the next big one would happen. And we learned about how the oil industry is trying to push them off their homeland, and yet they remain grounded. They told us that they are not a resilient people, because after all, no one really wants to be resilient, having to fight and struggle every single day just to survive. Instead, they said they're a thriving people. And so again, in this moment where we are holding this tension of pain and joy, it is still important to celebrate and to remember your thriving and the love that got you here. Yes. And so, to the graduating class of 2024, congratulations. Please give yourself a round of applause. You did it. After 4 years or more of studying all night, of exams and reading and constant writing, I know Beloit, constant writing, you have finished your Beloit College race. And thank you so much for inviting my fiance and I here to speak with you all today. As you know, we know a little bit about the struggle and making it through. I mean, after all, he got expelled from the Tennessee General Assembly for protesting gun violence. Gun violence. But see, you have to understand, it wasn't just him that got expelled. Our entire district did. And as we prepared all night for his defense, and as I sat in the gallery with our family and our community, I watched this injustice unfold. And yet, we still rise. Yeah. And on the 1-year anniversary of our expulsion, and what his mama told me, she said, what the devil meant for bad, God will turn around for good. Yeah. On the anniversary of our expulsion, we celebrated with our community because we were sent back and we would never let anybody silence our voices. So yes, we're angry about this injustice, but you must have love to fight oppression. And so it is our absolute honor to be with you all on your special day and to offer you just a few encouraging words along the way. So let me start with a few thank yous. Thank you to everyone who put this event together, including the housekeepers and the groundkeepers and the dining staff, everybody and the parents and the families here. Y'all are looking beautiful. Thank you to Eric for your leadership, to the Board of Trustees, which I am proud to serve on, for your love of this college, and to the faculty and the professors and the staff for your care for our students. And I didn't get to where I am today alone, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, had some help along the way. So if you will, I gotta say a few personal thank yous. Thank you to all of my friends and family who are here today. My father, Kenneth, my siblings, AJ, Lil Ruben, Rosemary, Richie, and Floyd, my 15 nieces and nephews, and my great-nephew, my godmama, Yvonne, to my friends in the crowd, Sabrina and her amazing wife, Jan, and to Winona, to Patty and Peter, who are like my grandparents, who literally house me when I have few other places to go, and of course, to all of the professors and mentors who helped me get to where I am, including the awesome and the phenomenal Donna Oliver. Please. Truthfully, Donna, I would not have gotten through school without you. I thank you for providing your office for a space for me to cry. Yeah, I cried a lot, she would tell you. And for letting me know that I am not in this fight alone.
And to my beloved mother, soon to be Dr. Kimberly Owens Pearson, thank you. I would not be the person I am today without your strength, love, joy, care, and spirit that is within me, carrying me and surrounding me with hugs and words of encouragement to keep running the race, to see what the end will be. Indeed, God is doing a great work in your life, and I am so fortunate to be one of your sons, your favorite one, of course, and to call you my mommy. To my daddy, the Reverend Jason C. Pearson Sr., who is a spiritual leader and an intellectual thought partner on the journey, thank you. And to my four brothers, Keyshawn, Jason II, Temperance, and Jalen, and all of my uncle babies and family, I love, I appreciate, and I honor each and every one of you. And to my best friend in the world, who God created just for me,
My God.
I thank you for being my partner in this journey and in this movement for justice rooted in love, for having someone who you can cry with, who you can pray with, who you can fight with, and even do a commencement with is a gift from God. And so I am so thankful and humbled to be your partner in this fight and to do this together.
Thank you. Now, today is a special day indeed. It's Mother's Day. So let us please honor all the mothers here today, all the grandmothers, the aunties, the siblings, the cousins. Yes. Yes. And we also want to recognize the mothers who are grieving today. Yes. My own mother lost a child, and my auntie Lavonda did too. Let us also recognize the people who have stepped up in the place of mothers, the guardians, the mentors, the brothers, the friends, and whoever it was that helped you get to where you are today. Let's please give them a round of applause.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing about Mother's Day. Like other holidays, like Christmas and Father's Days and our birthdays, it can be bittersweet for some of us. In fact, just 7 years ago, I was sitting where you are. The day was beautiful, just like today, and it was Mother's Day then, too. I had on my decorated cap, dedicated to my mama. I had on all of my stoles and my cords for being a McNair Scholar, for honors, and for BSU. I had my hair plaited that day because I wasn't sure if my afro was going to fit underneath my cap. But as you can see now, I'm beautifully locked.
Yeah.
And my mom's the one who taught me how to plait my hair. But you know, just from looking at me, as I was beaming with joy, I mean, I skipped across this stage to get my diploma. You would have never known that I was in mourning, because the most important person in my life was not there to celebrate with me, my mama.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an interesting thing how joy and intense sadness and pain and grief can exist together. It seems like that's the theme of today's world. And on days like these, we hurt just a bit more for those people who are not physically here with us. We long just a bit more for their touch, their hugs, and their voices. I know that I do. Ooh. My mother, Rosie Mae Weathersby, was an incredible woman. Yeah. And she was very smart. That's where I get it from. Her and my daddy, I gotta give him his props. Yeah. And she passed away during my first year of college, less than 1 month shy of her 54th birthday. But within the 18 years that I got to spend with her, she taught me a lot. And I would like to share a couple of those things with you today. And you may have already heard these things, but it's important to be reminded that number one, the wilderness, the times of trouble and struggle will not last forever, yes. And that you are enough.
Yes.
I experienced the most difficult day of my life at Beloit. I was thousands of miles away from home. I was freezing in the winter. Y'all, we had a polar vortex, and I'm from LA. I did not know what I was getting myself into. And the aftermath of my mother's passing fractured my family in ways that are still unhealed even today. And when I returned to Beloit after her funeral, I felt utterly alone. And I asked myself, where do I go from here? And how do I possibly go from here? I was in the wilderness, and I was deep in the wilderness. But slowly and slowly, day by day, I began to find my way out. Beloit became my home. Ooh, Lord, thank y'all. Beloit provided me with the community and education and support I needed to make it out. My journey at Beloit was not perfect. I too had to drop a class before I failed it. I mean, I don't know if y'all have to do that, but I did. I avoided parties, and I even wept in class. I mean, the struggle was real. But through this struggle and pain, I found hope. Yes. Beloit is where I first learned about grief. I found community with a group of students who also experienced loss. It was here at Beloit where I first learned how to care for my mental health. It was here at Beloit where I learned how to fight white supremacy, yes, and to dismantle, yes, racism, yes, to work towards a society that was more fair and more just. Yes. And I know many of you are fighting too. And I know you know the struggle I'm talking about. You all braved college during an unprecedented time. The world as we knew it was changed. You navigated virtual classes, COVID-19, yeah, social distancing. Many of you were not able to have a high school graduation, so this is your family's first time seeing you walk the stage in person since middle school. Yes. Come on. You may have experienced loss and felt isolation, and you too have journeyed through the wilderness, and now you are here today having earned your ticket out. Yes. And there will be more difficult days ahead, but I know you will overcome them. Because someone once told me, it's not what you have, yeah, it's what you do with what you have. Yeah. And it's not about how much you have, it's what you do with how much you have. Yeah. And so please know that you and all of you have what it takes to accomplish anything you put your mind to, yes, because you are enough. You have already passed the test and proved the time and time again that you will come out on the other side, maybe not unscathed, because I too have some battle scars, but through your Beloit experience, you will see that you have what it takes to compete with the best of them. Yeah. Yes. Y'all, 10 years from being at the lowest, and I mean the most lowest point in my life. 10 years after that, I am living a life that I love with someone that I love. And I can trace my success back here to Beloit. Where I could have been broken, I was held up by love. Yeah. I was surrounded by people like Donna, Oliver, and Olga, love Olga, who chose to care for me instead of judge me. Yeah. I was facing a lot of uncertainty, so much so that I didn't know where I was going to live and lay my head after graduation. I was homeless. And now today I have a master's degree and working on the law degree. Hello, somebody. Yeah. Come on. Come on. So y'all, where you are is just the beginning of what's in store for your life. But just please remember that the bad times will not last forever. Yeah. And whatever the next task or the next job or the next step is for you, You are enough.
You are enough. You are enough. These are the words whispered by ancestor angels on cotton fields and tobacco plantations, rice plantations, and even at the site of lynching trees up and down the American South and across these continents. Mine whispered these words as prayers in the Middle Passage and the second Middle Passage of the intercontinental slave trade. Yours may have whispered these words on native lands where they have been for thousands of years, or on boats arriving on these shores of Ellis or Angel Island, or the border of our sister countries of Mexico and Canada. These words by people like my own mother, Kimberly Owens Pearson, my mother-in-law, Rosie Mae Weathersby, my grandmamas Gwen and Pearson, my godmama, Sister Phaedra, my host mama, Kathy Gilfillan, were more than just affirmations. But these were prayers, prayers for strength and power that might speak into the future, in spite of all that I, in spite of all that you, in spite of all that we would encounter in this country and in this world. In a world that will seek to silence you and tell you to be quiet, remember you are enough. In a world that will sell your body, appropriate your culture, never forget you are enough. In a country that prioritizes billionaires' needs over the needs of 330 million people in need of resources to survive, remember, you are enough. In companies and even in for some of you in Congress, you will find that people are going to tell you you don't belong. They'll tell you you don't have what it takes. They'll tell you you need to wait your turn. Well, we are here to tell you that don't go along to get along. And never forget that you are enough. And it is because of this, because you and each of the people who are sitting next to you are enough, it means that our collective, our God-given power to see and to fight injustice in every form that it takes, that is our hope. And I believe that it is enough to heal, transform, and build up a broken world. Importantly, you must realize you are not in this journey alone, because those prayers have been answered. Because you are enough, we are enough. Because you are enough, we are enough. So, to the mountains of racism and white supremacy that seek to divide us and separate our struggles, we respond, we are enough to climb the summit, planting along the way to build solidarity between black folks and white folks and indigenous folks and poor folks and wealthy folks and straight folks and queer folks. We know that separation is not our end, but solidarity is. Collectively, we are enough to win. To the waves that seek to crash our joys with perpetual sorrow and pain, as we lose loved ones to systems of injustice such as police brutality and militarism, we respond that we are enough to withstand these crashes and to create a new and a better tomorrow, remembering the ancestor angels who come before and grounding ourselves to be unmovable and unshakable in our determination for freedom and the right to live free and of the fear of sanctioned violence. To the winds that seek to knock us down at every turn with more bigotry and more painful words directed at us, with more legislative and physical violence intended to kill us, with more hate that solidifies itself with attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the destruction of programs like these in our colleges and in our communities, with those seeking to harm us because they say they have more money and thus more power. They say they have deeper connections, and so they are more powerful. We remember the prayer that we are enough. And so locked arm in arm, heart to heart, we will transform the winds of oppression into the winds of change, ushering in a new country where the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is true and made real for everybody. For everybody, for everybody, for everybody, every tall body, every short body, every wide body, every skinny body, every black body, every Asian body, for everybody. And to those hurricanes that sometimes keep on rolling in our life, we remember that we are enough. We are enough people and enough power to rebuild, regrow, and recommit to the cause of environmental and climate justice to save our only home for ourselves and future generations. We are enough. To the future Beloiters and the millions of people who will walk this planet in the future, may we collectively send up a prayer so that our words that today may be whispers become shouts that reach into the hearts and the ears of future generations. You are enough, and thus we are enough to build a movement for justice rooted in love and make this world one where justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. You are enough. We are enough. Ashe.